Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Business Success Network podcast. I am delighted today to have our next guest here with me in the studio. Welcome, Paul Newton.
Hello, Stacey. Hello, everyone. How are you? I promise I'd go slow today. I'd talk slow. I got this.
I haven't got this at all because I get really excited, and when we talk, we both get excited, don't we? And we start just going on about stuff. So,
And we have
um,
ideas, and we come up with new things and fun things and
and
different
then
things.
And then the people that work closest to us kind of want to kill us. So let's
Yes.
not do that today. We've got some kind of structure to this, which will be the kind of structure that I always use. So the kind of
Mate,
thing
I'm really excited about this. I've got no notepad next to me. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. This could be really bad.
it could be. Let's face it. We've done a podcast before and it did get a bit bad.
But yeah,
However,
actually, Stacey, on my podcast, what did it end up talking about? Sex fiends and gimp masks. That was.
um, it did, and we said we
Yeah.
were not going to talk about this, and we are 1 minute and 10 seconds into this podcast, and you've brought up sex. So brilliant. Your wife already wants to kill me. Please don't
Yeah.
play this loud for her to hear, because I think she already thinks I'm stalking you. Now, actually, I'm really shocked because just before we came on air, do you like that? We
Yeah.
were in the green room and we were talking about podcasts, and we've done quite a bit of stuff together. You've been in the magazine, we've done lives together. You're one of the business success experts. I can see, for those of you that can see this on YouTube, Paul is nodding. For those of you that
Nodding.
can't,
Yeah.
Paul is definitely like nodding dog here.
This
So
is it.
we've
This is
done
great
lots
for
of stuff.
YouTube, rubbish for audio. Sorry. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was going to say to you, wow, what have you been up to since the last podcast? But you've never actually done the Business Success Network podcast yet.
No, no.
How
I
have you
haven't been.
escaped it all this time?
Mate, I think it's because you let me go on those lives, and then you thought it would be a really bad idea to have him on a podcast.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, I don't blame you, by the way.
Well, I'm beginning to blame myself now that we've already discussed sex. I would just like to point out when I was a guest on your podcast, there was
Mhm.
some real nuggets in there. It wasn't all smutty talk and God knows what else. And I kind of, well, I almost got you banned from Apple, didn't I?
You got us into a little bit of hot water because of what we wanted the title to be. Yeah.
So
But
this
we.
title was one that to be fair, it wasn't me. It was you and Jesse, who Jesse is your sidekick for those people that
Hey,
don't know.
don't blame Jesse. He's far too sweet and innocent.
Okay, so you created a title. You lured me into this false sense of security. We talked about stuff. It
Yeah,
went kind of a bit off topic. We laughed a lot.
yeah.
So I'm worried now that you're going to come and sabotage my podcast. Let's face
Oh, definitely. It's payback time.
you put the title up there, and a couple of weeks later, you said to me, Stace, we need to change this because Apple are threatening to take our podcast down.
But yeah, we just tweaked the title a bit, and they're fine. They're okay.
I feel like it's. I feel like I've won an award. That was like the best thing ever. Apple wanted to take me down.
Apple told us
Amazing.
off, and mate, and we've had Brad Burton on my show, and they didn't do anything with his one.
Oh, I feel like that's it now. I've definitely won the award of
That's
North
it. You
Sea
made it.
Podcaster of the Year. I've made it. That's it. So, Paul, while we're talking of made it, then tell the world, who are you? Why are you here? What's your background? And people know that I only have kind of experts on the show. So, what are you an expert in?
Right. I seem to be an expert in cybersecurity and personal security. But it's a weird route, Stacey.
I was going to say,
I
it's not always been that way, has it?
No. So I used to work in the corporate world. I walked away from the corporate world and sales management and things like that. 13 years ago, I walked away from that. And I had the really sensible idea that I would ditch the company car, the expense accounts, the definite pay every month to be a magician.
Wow.
Okay. And this was around about 2008 when, the recession was hitting and everyone was panicking about money. So I walked away from a sensible job, walked away from all of that security to go and work in the world of entertainment, which, by the way, kids, that's not a clever move. Okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. But I had the backing of my wife, and the reason I did it is because my little girl had been born. She was like 6 months old. I was at the time I was working the corporate world from 7 in the morning on Monday till about midnight every Friday, and then
Mm.
I'd come home and then I'd be doing a magic gig somewhere, so I wouldn't see them much at the weekend either. Now, if you're just a couple and you are chasing money to build with at the time, that's fine. I understand that. But when you've got this little bundle of skin and bones who get so excited every time they hear your voice, I couldn't stand being away. So I turned around
Don't
to
worry, I won't tell your wife that.
oh mate, she's well, both of them are awesome to be honest with you. Both of them kick my backside, but they're both awesome. So I've now got a teenage girl living in my house. She scares the life out of me, and I love her to bits at the same time. And my wife, who knows far too many secrets, so I have to be really careful. Um, and do you know what? But the choice was the magic stuff was bringing in just enough money for us to be okay. We would survive. Um, so my wife, who's the sensible one out of the two of us, she said, "Look, don't ditch magic because if you ditch magic, you're just going back like the weekend. Whereas if you walk away from the corporate job, we can have you at home for like 5 days a week, and you only have to work two." And actually, for those years in my life when I just wanted to be dad, that made so much more sense. Fast forward a lot. I've had a really nice career. I really enjoy being a magician. I love seeing people laugh. I love seeing people smile. And when you've helped create that laughter, that feeling of happiness, it's amazing. And then a few years ago, I was entertaining at a big military gig. I was doing some magic. This guy was a rude heckler, wound me up something rotten to the point that I thought, right, I'm going to have you. I'm just going to. You should not annoy a mind reader. To be honest with you,
And is this something that all magicians go through? Because we hear a lot of heckling, and when you see things on the TV, and you see there's always a heckler, and I do wonder sometimes, are they put there? Are they staged? Is
I,
it? They must annoy you, right?
all of my abusive hecklers are 100% real. Um, it's and do you know what? There's different versions of hecklers as well. So there's the ones who want to join in because they want to be on stage. There's the ones who want to be the alpha male or female and want to try and take over. And then there's the arrogant git, and this guy was one of them, who just wants to belittle everything you do.
Right.
Okay, and it was weird because I remember it vividly. The table I was at, there was 6 people. He was a git, 3 really nice girls, 2 really nice guys, and him. Okay, all military officers as well. And I'm doing my set at the table, and he was being a I nearly used bad words then.
You did.
He's been a nasty man.
Beep.
Yeah, just do a beep there, that'll be fine. And and I thought, right, that's it. I'm going to entertain everybody, but I'm also going to rip you to pieces as well. So while I was doing magic type stuff, I did mind reading on him. I nicked his password and username for his computer. I nicked his PIN number for his credit card. I got his mother's maiden name, the name of his first pet dog, and the name of the road he grew up on. Really unimportant stuff, right? I wrote them all down, said to him, "Here's a card. Have a look at the back of that card and let me know how I did." And seriously, Stacey, he went white. His jaw dropped. Expletives came out of his mouth, and he called me a lot of rude names.
Beep, beep, beep,
And
beep.
I said, "Have a lovely evening, ladies and gents. I've got to go entertain other people," and walked off. He then chased me. We had quite a heated discussion, shall we say, and he pointed out to me that if I can steal personal information in seconds when I don't know someone, what could I do to all of the businesses in the UK? And that was when I took another little detour on my career and I started looking at cybersecurity and I started looking at speakers in the cybersecurity world. And oh my word, they're boring. So, so many of them are just boring. Honestly, I've now done a lot of stuff with other cybersecurity speakers. 2 of them are brilliant. 2 of them are really engaging, really thought provoking, get you wanting to do more. And most of the others just want to talk about how many gigabytes are in a firewall and how many nanoseconds it takes to breach a phishing. I don't
Which
care.
nobody wants to hear, do they? If you're looking, I mean,
No,
if you started talking to me, I would glaze over. I would not want to know about it. Whereas actually, if you make it fun, you make it entertainment, entertaining, and you make it kind of a little bit scary, like edge of your seat things, we're going to listen, right?
Yeah, we'll listen. But seriously, mate, when I was doing my research, I went to see supposedly one of the best cyber speakers in the UK, and I saw three people in the back row take pillows into the talk so they could have a nap while he was speaking.
No, what is the.
How bad
Oh,
is that?
that is
Um,
terrible.
yeah, so all of my talks, I have a thing on the ticket saying no pillows allowed, just in case. But yeah, I get up, I steal stuff from people in the room, I will nick things off of you that you don't believe you will ever give away, and I'll tell you stories about how I've broken into buildings, how I've broken into companies, and they didn't even notice until I've taken a load of cash out of the bank. And that's my real job. My honest to God job now is I steal stuff for a living to prove to people where the problems are, where their chinks are in their armor,
You are
because
behaving today as well because you said I steal stuff, and normally you say I steal.
I still what, Stacey?
Shh.
See, I never say it. I never say the S word. And if you look at my title, it's always
I take
SH1T.
one tea. Yeah, I see. I know. I've done my. I know. I know.
Yeah,
I
and
wouldn't
the
say I've
reason is
but I've
in the,
seen food. So
in the UK, loads of people use swear words as their passwords, and they change one letter to a number.
so there is a
Simply,
reason behind it that you
yeah,
do that. That's really clever.
and it's so funny because I've had one organisation say, "Oh, we're not using that as a title; it's got a swear word in it." And I was like, "What swear word?" They said, "Well, it says SHIT," and I'm like, "No, it doesn't. It says SH1T, and that's because of the story of passwords." And all of a sudden they go, "Oh, that's quite a good reason." And then you turn around to the real stick in the mud who's saying you can't have that, and you go, "Have you got any swear words in any of your passwords?" And they go, "Well, that's not the point. You have, haven't you?"
It is.
And you see them going, "Oh, now he's made a really good point, and actually, it does need to be told." But yeah, I've had one organisation moan about that, and then on the flip side, I've had solicitors, accountancy firms, I've had government bodies ask me to do the talk and not even batted an eyelid at the title. And this one place that told me I had to change it was a small networking group that I hadn't heard of before. And you just kind of go, really? You're going to moan at me about that? But that's
But
how I
you
got
want my
known.
content, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the funny thing is that they changed it on their website, and I called them up and I said, "Oh, who's delivering that then? Because that's not my talk." Yeah, yeah,
Oh dear. What an amazing story though. Like to go from, like you say, corporate sales, dropping everything to become a magician. Now I know you said, listen, kids, don't do it. It's a really stupid idea. Hey, we all have stupid ideas. And I think when you're self-employed, there is the question of is it a stupid idea or is it belief and
yeah.
kind of something inside you that is just I mean, I always say now I'm not employable. I would hate to have a boss. I am totally unemployable. Nobody wants to employ me. I actually had a job offer yesterday, but that is, like I say, something
But
else.
isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Because I now get job offers, and I swear to you, if any of these people took me on, they'd probably sack me within a week because I've
Yeah,
just
they
wind them
hate
up so
me.
much. But yeah, I get job offers now, and I look at it and go, "There's no flexibility. There's
Yeah.
You kind of want to put me into this box and control what I do, even though you want to employ me because of the absolute grenade that I've got known as."
100%. I was literally talking through uh, job roles with somebody yesterday, and that's why they said to me, "Do you want a job?" And I said, "You'd hate it. You would hate working with me because," and I actually said, "The person that you've got doing that role now, that's working Monday to Friday, 9 till 5." I said, "You'd probably only need me Monday to Wednesday, 9:30 till 2:30, and I'd still get more done." Because
Yeah,
it's the way that your brain works and the way that you look at things when you're self-employed. You kind of, like you say, it's make or break, it's earn money or don't, it's all those things. So I know that you said don't do this, but absolutely go out and be self-employed because it rocks and it sucks all at the same time in equal
yeah.
measures in certain weeks.
And I've seen recently there's been like a Facebook post going around about how tough and how hard and how weird it is to be
Yeah.
self-employed. But on the flip side, I love it.
Absolutely.
Nobody can tell me what to do, where, when, or how. I've had shows that have booked me, and you'll get a director that hasn't worked with me before, and they go, Paul, you're not allowed to do this, 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 and you have to do this, this, and this. And you'll see like the producer of the show going, you haven't worked with Paul, have you?
This is pretty much our conversation before we went live. Paul, we're not going to talk about sex. We're not going to talk about the hiccup that was your podcast. We're not going to talk about this. And you went, great. I've now got a list of things I can talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't even put a picture up of me in a gimp mask yet. We're doing quite good. We're doing pretty good. Yeah.
We are. I just think it's such a varied background. And like you say, to then go from, so you've gone corporate to sales and then go, corporate sales to magic, and then go from magic to just that chance opportunity. And that's the thing here is you took that. There would be many magicians, I am sure, that have maybe had a similar experience and never thought about it or never actioned it, never took that opportunity because it just wasn't on their radar. And that's what I love about you is you said, hang on a minute, there's something here. And it didn't come from a place of, oh, I can get bookings and I can do this and this is about the money. It was genuinely about, actually, I can help businesses. I can help people not get scammed.
And
So,
you've seen it from the start, Stacey. You saw me doing the tour of Four Ends, where I was going.
yeah.
It was costing me so much more than any finance would come back from it. But it meant a load of people around the country went, he's got a point. And we haven't done it. We haven't set up a password manager. We haven't set up two-factor authentication. And Paul's proven to us that those are the things that are going to save us really
And you
easily.
know what's really interesting? I nearly tagged you into a post the other day because someone had posted in a group that we both belong to saying, oh my God, Facebook's bringing out this new, make your profile more secure. And what is it? And I commented saying, look, it's just make sure you've got two-factor. I can't even get the words out. Authentication. There we go. I
Well
got
done.
there in the end. Make sure that's on and making sure that you've provided this, that, and the other. It's a good thing. And I get it. They said, oh, we just two-factor, it doesn't work for us. They'd got a couple of personal issues, which I get. But I said, it's at the end of the day, it might be a bit annoying. It's going to be even easier for the hackers. And
Yeah.
I did have a bit of a funny with me, and I was going to tag you in and just say, Paul, what are your thoughts? But actually, it's that thing of you can't help everyone. You can only provide the information.
No,
So
no, I
yes,
did.
I
Um,
hate two-factor authentication. In fact, I hate it so much when my son dropped his phone into a pond and I had to ring Apple and say, I've got him a new phone. I'm trying to set up his Apple ID. This is how stupid it is. He's got like family thing. Can we do it some way through that? Because the two-factor authentication is going to his old phone. And they said, yeah, can't you just switch it on? I was like, I'm not going diving into a pond to find the phone. So, we had to wait about a month for Apple to come through, to do their checks, to do all that. It was annoying, but actually deep down, it was good that they do those checks because if someone had nicked his phone,
yeah,
two fingers to them, isn't it?
exactly, mate. And yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's a bit of a pain, and especially when they try and send you a passcode and you haven't got signal or something like that,
Yeah.
and you have to walk out in the cold, dead down the road, find Big Hill or whatever. But the fact is, what's more annoying, Stacey? Having to deal with two-factor authentication, or someone getting into your phone, getting logged onto your credit card or maybe your bank account because they've got into your phone and nicking your cash. It's
Absolutely.
if you get to the end of the month and you can't pay your mortgage or your rent and you can't buy food or you can't, and all of a sudden you've now got to turn around to friends or family and ask if you can borrow money, but don't put it into that bank account because the hacker's got that one. We've got to set up a new account. You, and then it's also the emotional side of it. Mate, the amount of people I deal with now who go through the emotional grief of being hacked. It's honestly, mate, it's disgusting.
And I get it. We've discussed this before on lives and other things. It wasn't hacked. My husband actually, he was scammed, and we've had conversations where people think, oh, I must be stupid. I must be, why didn't I see it? These scams nowadays, I mean, I see them now and I point them out quite often. and you may notice that randomly your Facebook page keep getting tagged in things. It's me, I promise you. In a mum's group where they're asking, oh, this is happening, this, or is this happening? And I always, and this is kind of the thing about being one of our experts, is I will say it's a scam. And I know this because I know at Mental Theft, go and check out their page, because it is so worth them taking, they people now are getting to the point where, they're posting things on social media and saying, is this a scam? But, it is hard. Some of these emails, some of these websites that are up and running, that's how we got scammed. It was a website. It had loads of Google 5-star reviews. And the minute that money went over, gone.
Yep.
Absolutely gone. And it was gone. And we never managed to get it back. The banks couldn't do anything. Well, that was another argument. But we'll stop Stacey ranting for now. So I love this. I love the fact that you've gone through, and you're still doing magic stuff. You're still entertaining.
So I'm doing a wedding this weekend now. Yeah, so this weekend I've got a wedding, which is lovely, and then Monday I'm off to London because I'm speaking and working at International Convex, which by the time this goes out, that would have happened last week, maybe. And we haven't even, we've mentioned my podcast, Newton's Nuggets, available.
I was going to let you plug it.
Thanks. But do you know what? I'm doing stuff that I'm absolutely loving doing. While we've been locked down, don't get me wrong, the finances have been horrendous. But, mate, the emails that I get when somebody says, I read your book and it saved me from this potential scam that came in a few weeks later. And people are like, they used exactly the script that you told us about. And as soon as they started going down that script route, I knew what they were doing. That's what we're in it for. Stopping those little old ladies, stopping your mates getting done for a few £1,000s, and trying to take down those websites that are selling dodgy cars. Yeah. I mean, me and my wife, we're looking at moving at the moment, and oh my word, the rental market is ridiculous with scams. It's just disgusting. I found one guy on Facebook who's apparently renting about 50 different properties around the UK, but it's done so cleverly. They're all at just under the proper market level, so people will go to him as first, and then all you have to do to secure this is this part of the deposit, and he's taking thousands off of people on a weekly basis, and horribly for him, he's now on my radar.
Good. I'm really pleased, and I rent, so I'm passionate about. There are some good landlords out there. There are some. Oh, I nearly swore then. I nearly said the put word. There are some poor landlords out there, and actually adding scams to it as well. That's just a whole kind of level of things that renters do not need to worry about. So that's kind of I'm guessing what you're up to now. So you're still doing a bit of entertainment, but you touched on speaking there with Mental Theft. Let's face it, we can't not mention COVID. It blew the entertainment industry out of the water. It was really sad to see. It was a tough time. I know you've done talks online that have literally choked me up. Now,
don't you make me cry.
I'm not going to make you cry. People think I'm a bit of a tough cookie at times, but you broke me on a couple of occasions, and I think I broke you as well, asking questions. And we won't go into that.
Mate, that time was
and yet and I hate the word pivot. I hate it. But you took that challenge head on, and not just for you, but there was people watching you that were in that entertainment industry that were really despairing, and they were looking at you and what you were doing, and you were like this beacon of light for people.
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
It won't happen again.
No, sod that. Don't need to do that again. But it was weird, mate. I had some Mental Theft and the talks had just started taking off and were doing well. The magic career was lovely. I was getting booked to do shows all over the place on stage that I absolutely love. And I remember just getting that announcement of we're now not allowed in a room of over 30 people. And I looked at my diary and went, that's everything for the rest of the year. and you get, oh, it's only going to be for a few weeks. And I looked at what was happening in other countries, and I went, this ain't for a couple of weeks. This is going to be much longer. And I remember when we knew it was going to be longer, I turned around to my wife and I said, I want to give everyone's deposits back because I think this is long term. I don't think any of these weddings this year are going to happen. I don't think the corporate things are going to happen. But I need my reputation to stay intact. So you've got to think we're now a few weeks into you're not working again, Paul, and I gave back something like 10 grand while facing potential bankruptcy. What the hell do you do with that? I mean, how do you look at that and go, let's find a positive spin on this? What you actually do is you have a load of people around you that will support you and kick you up the backside and point out to you that you're still needed. Jesse is going to get a blatant mention here because if he hadn't kicked me, I don't think mental theft would even be standing anymore. There's a young lady called Maddie Alexander Grout who told my story to the crowdfunding lot when I was talking about writing a book because I now had time at home to write a book about all this stuff, but no money to produce it. She went and dobbed me in to this crowdfunding lot, and they liked the idea so much that they went, we want this and we want to promote it and we're not going to charge you any fees. So I was up against a wall, and a load of people just went, you got this. You then add into that the 4N members that all went, if you bring that book out, we're buying it. You then think about 4N group leaders and BNI members. I did talk for big BNI groups as well. And they started going, well, if you make a crowdfunder on that, we'll pitch in for one of the corporate bits. And you just kind of look around, and that, even the crowdfunder for the book, Stacey, I needed £2,000 to scrape through. I wanted £4,000. I told Jesse that I don't think it would hit 50 quid. And that would have been if I got my dad involved. Okay. and then my brother lovingly said, Dad wouldn't have given you 50 quid. But that's not the point. And we ended up raising nearly £7,000 on that. And it produced the book and got a load of sales for the book. And
But
that
it shows the power of you and your story and your message and your tribe and your reputation, like you said. But it also shows the genuine need for a product and a book like that.
Yeah. And
It was a
the book is out there and still selling by itself.
I just went to grab it because it's here on my desk. However, it's not on my desk.
Someone's nicked it. That's just awesome.
Yeah. No. It's there. I literally have it for reference, and I'm always holding it up. So
see, I find it weird. My own eyes looking back at me, it just freaks me out a bit.
Well, what a lovely pair of eyes they are. So if you haven't seen the book, do go and have a look, because yes, there is Paul's eyes looking back at you. But it was one. In fact, if not the book of lockdown for me, it was definitely one of the books of lockdown that came out that genuinely could. To say it could change the world is a huge thing, but actually, if it changes 5 grannies from being, and let's face it, they are not as clued up on. I would hate to think of my nan being in that position. So,
yeah, what you just said there about it could change the world is, I never really
it's a
thought of
bold
it
statement, but it could, and it will.
Do you know what? Somebody else said something to me that I was like, that's it. That's what I want. And they were talking about how it could change everything in the English speaking world. And I was like, look, don't say that to me because that's too big. I don't want to think that way. I've just.
You don't want me to say, hey, listen, it could be translated and you'll be in a bookshop in Dubai soon.
Nope. Okay. Shut up. Nope.
We won't say that.
Nope. Me and Jesse argue about my podcast as well, because I say to Jesse, there's only 2 listeners. I'm happy with that. And Jesse's like, you have numbers.
Yeah.
It's only 2 listeners in the whole thing. I'm all right with that. But yeah, the book, somebody said to me about the book, he said, look, then don't think about it as changing the world. Think about it as changing the world for one person. And if we stop that one person getting scammed out of their life savings, I'm good.
And actually, as much as you love your speaking gigs and you love going out there and doing talks, you can never get in front of the whole world. That book is your gift to all those people that cannot get in front, in front of you. It's your gift to them to say you can have a little piece of Paul Newton for however much it's
Just
retailing.
so wrong, Stacey. Buy a piece of Paul Newton.
There is nothing. How can you even frown? And
Because I'm now thinking about people chopping little bits of me off, and that's where it goes. Eventually, it's going to run out. I know I'm a big lad, but it
your
will eventually.
mind is terrible. Listen, we have been on for half an hour. Yet again, we've gone over. We
But
knew
we
we
haven't even
would.
talked about Newton's Nuggets and the Patreon account and the show I'm
We
doing in April.
haven't. So right, let's plug Newton's Nuggets next because we're
Yep.
gonna talk about that. We have mentioned
I'm
the
so
podcast.
sorry. You had a plan and everything.
I
I'm so
did, and
sorry.
you told me to stick to that plan.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
talked about your background. We have talked about what you're doing now in the future plans, or we're kind of getting onto that now. Tell me about Newton's Nuggets.
So Newton's Nuggets started out as a podcast in 2020. Well, it actually started out because I'd just point a camera at myself and give a 5-minute nugget of information to help people. When lockdown happened, I realised that I've got this amazing network of people, and I could interview some of them because it'd be interesting, and we could put it up on the YouTube channel. That then turned into a podcast. That then kind of got more and more focused on business people and people who wanted to further themselves in the business world, or even people who wanted to make themselves better in their jobs. And we've had some amazing people on there, Stacey, yourself included, obviously. But yeah, if you go look at Newton's Nuggets as a podcast, I swear to you, out of all the shows we've done, there is someone on there that will help you just make yourself more amazing than you already are. And that's been the aim of Nuggets. Now, I joke and I mess about with it, and if you listen to some of the latest shows, me and Jesse argue because I'm just saying, look, there's only 2 listeners, and he's pushed me. No, he has pushed me lately to admit there might be 4 listeners. Okay, that I'm happy with that. I can talk to 4 people and have fun with them. That's all right. I'm staying there for now. And then seriously, Stacey, we went through the actual numbers the other day, and
I've
I'm
seen
kind of in
you've been
shock.
promoting the charts, and there is not 2 numbers.
It's nuts. It's just nuts. And I've got it, yeah, and the way that we put the show out, it shows you where in the world people are listening as well. And we've got listeners all over the world. What
You've
the
got
hell?
listeners in Leamington Spa. It's like,
Leamington Spa, see that far away, and Southampton, just round the corner. But it's when you see these yellow dots appearing in America and Australia and Kazakhstan and countries I've never heard of, and you just think, what the hell are they doing? They're all nuts. Why are they listening? But it's amazing, and the feedback we get. So when we did the podcast, we knew we'd need to get some money to make it work. So sometimes we have people advertise on it. That's absolutely fine. I love that. But we also have this Patreon account thing that people put monthly money into. So stupidly, I've agreed with Jesse that I'm going to put on a one-off Zoom show again.
yeah, I
I
love
did
the
one
last
last
one.
year. It went ridiculously. It went so well that I refused to do any more because my God, it was scary. So I'm going to do a one-off show in April. It's going to celebrate the 100th episode of Newton's Nuggets,
Amazing.
and the tickets are going to go to all of the people that are currently signed up to the Patreon account. So someone could go on there, sign up to the cheapest. I think it's a £5 option, and they could quit it in 30 days, and they'll still get a ticket. So it's, mate, I still can't believe it. The Newton's Nuggets, that silly podcast that we started because we wanted to have a bit of fun and let people know that they could still be entertained even in the
Yeah.
shittiest of times. Sorry, you're gonna have to believe that one. Even in the
Well,
most horrible year that we've had. Um, and now it's kind of its standalone business in its own right.
it's
Where the hell
amazing.
did that come from?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I've listened to them. You've had incredible experts. You've had that it's just so diverse. Like you never really know what the next
No,
person, there's not a single type of you couldn't pinpoint what your special guests are. You know, there's not
No, and
kind of a
and
niche. It's just
Stacey, don't tell anyone this bit, okay? Because
okay, I
this
won't.
this bit.
Nobody's listening.
We
We've only got 2 listeners as well.
2 listeners, and that's me and you, right? Okay,
We're good. We're
I'm fine
good.
with that. I've just found out that we've been put up for some nationwide awards.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Are we allowed
So,
to know which?
not at the moment because I didn't write down what they were. But yeah, but you
And
know,
I've got to get this in here because you're not going to say it, but you are also up for the Business Success Network Expert of the Year for 2022 in our own awards.
I know I am, right? But I can happily ignore that one because if you've seen the list of awesome people that are up for that award,
There are, but you should not ignore it.
no, I should because it scares
Well,
me.
I'm going to send it to Jesse then because he won't ignore it.
Yeah, send it to Jesse. Yeah, he'll
So
look at that and
future
go,
plans then, you're going to be an award-winning entertainer, cybersecurity expert, podcaster. Listen to this. This is just amazing. The list goes on. Paul Newton knows no end to your talent. Seriously, you can pay me
mate.
later.
And do you know what? If we're allowed out in the world again, I might be allowed to earn a living too.
You might,
What
and we
the
might get
hell?
some Paulie hugs back in the world.
Poorly hugs.
And of
Everyone
course,
needs a poorly
future
hug.
plans. You are actually breaking news here. You are performing. Performing, is that the right word? You're entertaining us and the masses at the Business Success Recognition Awards in Birmingham in June the 18th. You're there,
Yes, I am.
so people
So if you
can
need
get
a
a
poorly
Paulie
hug,
hug.
you know, you've got to come along to the awards. There you go.
Oh, honestly, it's fantastic. I'm so excited. And this is kind of the stuff that through lockdown, the networking, it's coming together. It's knowing that, you know, who can I bring to these awards that's going to entertain people? Absolutely, Paul Newton. We've also got the amazing Kim Fox.
See,
Double
right.
act. It's gonna be
This
amazing.
upsets me, okay? Because Kim is gorgeous, talented, and amazing at what she does. And then you're going to bring on a bloke in a grey trilby. I mean,
Hey, listen, everyone has different tastes. Paul, I always end the show with the question, what does business success look like to you? Now, there's no right or wrong. We know this, but everyone has a different answer. And so I think it's, you know, obviously with the name of the network, the name of the podcast, I've got to ask. So what does it mean to you?
to me, I'm going to go with 2 points, if that's okay with you.
That's okay with me.
Number one for me is being dad. Okay, being a great dad and husband is what I aim at. Number two, and I think this should be everybody's aim in life, no matter what they're doing, the goal should be happy. If you can create a lifestyle that makes you happy and the people you care about happy, then you've already won.
100%. Some people say to me, and I've had it said to me before, we don't count the success, we count the happiness. And that's kind of what I feel. And when I was listening to your background and you were saying about things changed when you had your child, I can 100% relate to it, you know, because, and I often joke, look, I went self-employed to be a mum at home. And then as the years have gone on and they've got older, I now go networking to get out of the home. You know, it's that kind of thing, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it is about that, being the kind of person, being the kind of parent, the, you know, whatever it is, it's just doing things on your term, really. So I get that. Great answer. Thank you very much. Paul, you are a superstar. There is so much going on with Newton's Nuggets and mental theft and your magician work. I am going to let you give a plug in just a second. But for now, thank you, everybody that's been listening. He has been Paul Newton. I have been Stacey Calder. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Do check out the other episodes coming very soon. Thank you.